us knocking. Let us in then. Because Boston has officially entered the chat. Travis, Thomas, George Balekji, why do you always knock like that?
You don't like it?
No, we need the police knock, bro. Yeah. Boston has entered the chat. Open up. We know you're in there. And you know we're interactive. Hey, how about this? Boston has entered the chat hotline. What more can you ask for? We're asking for you to get involved here. 617-790-0928. 617-790-0928. Boston has entered the chat. We do Boston sports and everything in between, of course. We got all the bases covered, George.
Boston sports across the nation, of course. Culture. You want to talk Jersey with me? Let's do it.
Check.
You want to talk trash to our face? I'll take it. All the smoke, baby. Bring it my way.
No,
at me.
No, just
talk
me? Trash.
That's fine. I'll take it. Let's go.
Be kind to me. I'll be kind to you. Hey, coming up, we'll break down Game 1, Celtics, Cavs, of course, and we'll preview Game 2 along the way. And are the Bruins a team of destiny? Here are our answers on that. Plus, of course, we'll preview tonight's Game 2 in that series as well. But we always start the same way with let me get this off of my chest. Usually it's me or George or both of us getting something off of our chest. To my understanding, my man GB is feeling a type of way tonight.
I just want to keep it simple, Trav. The Celtics just beat the Cavaliers by 25 points. The Boston Celtics... We knew this coming in.
Yes.
But now more than ever, this is your title to lose. The Cavaliers aren't in the same stratosphere of you. They don't have the firepower to keep up. We just saw that in Game 1, especially Jared Allen in 5 at most is this series. The Knicks just lost Mitchell Robinson. They were 7 deep with him on one leg. Now they're 6 deep. They can't keep up with you. The Pacers? They can't defend. They're the fakest Final Four team left in the East in all of this playoff layout. The Thunder, too young. They'll get there, just too young. Nuggets, banged up. Jamal Murray on one leg, and they're down 0-2 in their series. Of course, you got the Mavs, Luka, one leg. And I just don't trust Kyrie when it comes time to actually play basketball. Yeah, you got the Timberwolves. I understand that. That's a good team. Ant-Man's legit. But Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert in a big-time game? Look, how it goes down, even without Kristaps Porzingis, and I've sat here before and said Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, it's time for you guys to step up. That injury happening exposes the biggest weakness on the Celtic team, and that's Joe Mazzulla. Well, lucky for them, Mazzulla doesn't have to coach. They have the talent to roll the ball out there and just run everyone off the floor. But now more than ever, when you went out and got Kristaps Porzingis, when you went out and got Jrue Holiday, you paid Jaylen Brown, and guess what? He actually lived up to being the highest paid player per year with his all-pro play. We just saw it tonight. Guess what? Pressure's on you even more because the East is wide open. It's going to be a walk to the finals and either get the Nuggets, who are hobbled and banged up, and we'll see how gassed Jokic is, or the Timberwolves, who are unproven. You've been there before. You've had the experience. It's no more excuse for the Celtics team. I just want to make sure they understand loud and clear what the expectations are.
Strong stuff there. Hey, listen, I look at this as I was not shocked that obviously none of us were that the Celtics handled their business in Game 1 of this series. I did think it would be a little bit closer than it was. Kudos to the Celtics for coming out high energy. You know how sometimes they come out flat, especially at home, especially in big spots where we expect them to kick ass. They came out with energy. They matched that. I thought they jumped up early on the Cavs. I thought the Cavs did a good job of battling back early on after, the Celtics did come out high energy, as I said. They battled back. They kept it close. But in the end, it was predictable. Donovan Mitchell doing everything and no one else consistently being his secondary option. And we saw that play out. Meanwhile, take your pick for the Celtics. You look up and down this box score, George. I got it right here. Derek White, 25. Jaylen Brown, 32. Good game from Jrue Holiday. Jason Tatum, not the scoring threat that we're used to, but he did crash boards with a double-double, 18 points, 11 boards there. It was just a complete team win, which is what the Celtics have been doing. It's what they did against the Heat, as you laid out. Yes, the path for them is very I don't want to call it easy, but it's easier than we thought it would be for sure. And, they handled their business at home in game one. In the end, the Cavs are too limited offensively to really make this a series that you feel like they're a threat to beat the Celtics. I do think, my prediction, game 2 is going to be closer. I mean, look, there's got to be more urgency from the Cavs. Even though I say they're limited offensively, I do think they can come out a little more gangbusters, match that Celtics energy early, try to be in this game. And then in the end, I think the Celtics will pull away in game 2 a little later than they did in this game even. But the Cavs just can't compete. They don't have the horses.
Exactly. They don't have the stallions to keep up with what the Celtics have. Donovan Mitchell dropped 33 points. We expected that to happen.
Yes.
What is it? His last 3 games, 50, 39, 33.
Right.
At one point, the Celtics defense held him scoreless for 13-minute stretch, and he still got that 33. But it wasn't the surrounding support, scoring-wise, he got from the rest of his team. Honestly, the biggest takeaway, it's tough to really take anything away except positives from a 25-point win.
Right.
Where the Cavaliers were never in it. They were in the beginning, but once they took the lead, the Celtics responded with an 11-2 run, right?
Yes.
Jason Tatum, I'm worried. Shot 42% from the floor, 29% from 3 in the first round, 7 for 19 today, 0 for 5 from deep. And in full seriousness, like, Derek White is your second best player right now with no Porzingis, Tatum doing a scoring struggle. Now, JT still had 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, so brought a more all-around game. But Derek White comes into this one, averaging almost 22.5 points per game, 47% from 3, 25 points, 9 for 16 from the floor, 7 for 12 from the 3 field goal. I know eventually you're going to need more from Jason Tatum. I don't like holding my breath waiting to see it, especially against opponents as bad as who they faced. The Heat in the first round, the Cavaliers in the second round. Cavs are a good defensive team, but there's something with JT for a shot to be off like this.
Okay, I don't want to take anything from Derek White, so I agree with everything you said.
What he's doing is
there.
great. You need out Kristaps out.
Right.
You need Tatum in there.
Right. I don't want to take anything from Derek White, so I'll let that breathe with what you said. Everything was spot on. Amen. I don't have any issues. I'm going to defend Jason Tatum. 2 reasons.
Okay.
Number 1, yes, obviously the scoring is down. The shooting's horrendous. You just gave the numbers. I get it. His team's still smoking people, right? And we could talk about the path as you did with, get this off of my chest. I get all that. That's another topic for another Boston has entered the chat. The path is the path. But as far as Tatum's scoring, it is down. The shooting's horrendous. I'll give you all that. But his team is still smoking people. So there's no – I'm going to give him some grace there. There's no real pressure for him to have to score. Does he want to shoot better? Of course he does. Does he want to play better? Of course he does. Here's where I say I defend him. His team's blowing people out, without him playing well. I don't believe whatever's going on with his shooting is going to stick around. He's going to bounce out of that. Here's the biggest reason why I'll defend him and give him some grace here. He's not sulking. This isn't a bad shooting series and then a game 1 where he's off again against the Cavs and he has a towel over his head on the sideline and he's pouting and it's all about me. That's not what he's doing. He's crashing the boards. He's giving you rebounds. Even in the Heat series, there was an uptick in rebounds from him. He's giving you assists. He's getting his teammates involved. He's playing defense. He's being a leader. Like, I need to see that from him. In the end, with Jason Tatum, he's going to be judged on what? Titles, okay? And moments. There's going to be a moment, whether it's the Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, all the above. He's going to have to rise to the moment. He's going to have to score. He's going to have to take over a game. As long as he passes those tests, which I have faith that he will, and gets a title, which is what ultimately he will be judged by here in Boston, just like all the greats are, that's all that matters. No one's going to look back. If they win the title this year, and we both have talked about this path ad nauseum, so let's, for the sake of this convo, says Boston mows down all these teams, They get an inexperienced Thunder or Luka or Timberwolves in the final, anyone but Denver in the finals, and they win a title. No one, I guarantee, is going to look back and say, well, he sucked against the Heat, and then there was that game one against No one gives a rat's ass. All that matters is, did you get the title? Were there games? Were there moments where you stood up and showed out? That's all that matters. And then did you get the banner? Did you get the ring? Yes, check. Now your legacy is set in this town. So that's why I'm going to give him grace. If he was on the sidelines pouting, I would be right with you. But he's not, and he's helping you in other ways smoke teams, which is and credit to his team, obviously, for doing that. Jaylen Brown has stepped up. He's your best player right now. He just is, right?
Facts.
And as you said, Derek White's your second best player as of right now. But in the end, just step up in the moments when you need to. If you're not shooting well, don't bitch about it. Go rebound, go assist,
which he
go
does.
Play defense, which he has been doing. I'm not giving him a pass, but I'm giving him grace. There's a difference.
If he doesn't show up these first two series and then shows up Eastern Conference Finals, I could give a damn less what he did.
That's right.
My concern is, when is he going to break out of it? Because he's trending in the opposite direction that he was from the regular season. And eventually, you are going to need your best player or your second best player to come through as so. Because Derek White's not going to sustain this play. He's doing it now. Didn't do it last playoffs. Didn't do it the playoffs before. Derek White is what he is, which is fine. And playing around a Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, it opens up more for him where he could flourish. He's great as your third, fourth best player on your team. He can't be your number two, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. They're getting by against such inferior opponents that Derek White can be their second best player right now.
Sure.
But Tatum eventually needs to turn it on for them to win a ring. Because I can open up, as I did, and say this path is easy for the Celtics.
Right.
Eventually, the cream's going to rise to the top. And whoever you're facing in the finals out of that West, which is packed, I broke them down, talked them down, said how easy they are.
Well, it's experience. You're not saying they're not talented teams.
Outside of the Thunder, it's experience what they have in the West.
Right.
Thunder are just flat talented, just young. And that's my one, but I love them. Timberwolves, led by Ant Edwards, he's not afraid of anything. And then he has the vets around him in the Naz Reeds and the Jaden McDaniels, Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley's, just mentoring how to do it. But stuff's going to hit the fan, and Jason Tatum needs to be that guy. He needs to be that Game 6 in Milwaukee in 2022, excuse me. He needs to be that Game 7 against the Sixers in 2023. That Game 6 against the Heat. He needs to be that kind of Jason Tatum. And eventually that switch has to flip.
Sure.
Leadership's there. Body language is fine. I'm cool with it. But how this team is constructed, especially without Kristaps Porzingis, your best players need to play their best basketball. This won't be a Celtics win in spite of. No, Celtics win because of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White.
Right.
That's fine.
This is what drives you crazy about Joe Mazzulla. And I feel bad even saying this after they destroyed the Heat and then they destroyed the Cavs in Game 1. But, we've been saying this all year with him. The whiteboard game is porous at best because, and we talked about this, I remember there were moments in the Heat series where Drew Holiday wasn't playing well. He's playing great defense, but offensively, there was a lot there to be desired. Kristaps Porzingis, to a certain extent, too, before he got hurt, was sort of getting pushed around a bit off the three-point line, remember? Mm-hmm. Was it Caleb Martin, I think, had a game against him where he was literally bodying him off of the three-point line.
6'5" Caleb Martin.
So both situations, both examples, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, we were screaming for Joe Mazzulla to scheme something. Get Drew Holiday some early shots, get him aggressive early, get him in an offensive rhythm, almost like a quarterback coming out and throwing check down Charlies to start a game. Get him in a rhythm before you take the big shot down the field, right? Mm-hmm. We were screaming for that for Drew Holiday. We were screaming, hey, if Kristaps is getting ran off of the three-point line from a 6'5" wing, take his ass down in the post and dump it down to Kristaps, who's just taller, and he could turn around and get buckets on him. We didn't see any of that. when you watch the Celtics, it's pickup basketball. It's like going to the Y and just watching guys run up and down and jack three-pointers all night.
46 tonight.
So what's happening here is Jason Tatum's just off. He's just off. He's in a slump. It is what it is. You can't scheme something for him to get him in a rhythm and to get some easy buckets. It just drives me nuts. In the end, Jason Tatum will figure it out. He'll get out of this slump. I'm only judging him on the big moments in the biggest games. That's it.
Fine.
I'm not going to – I don't care about this. As long as they're thumping people, I don't give a damn about him shooting like this because he's giving me effort in other areas.
And how about Jaylen Brown? Brilliant.
Ooh,
12 for 18
brilliant.
from the floor,
All
32
playoffs.
points.
George, all playoffs.
All second half of the season and now.
Yeah, right.
He's been their best player, got paid as so.
Right.
Doing it both ends of the floor as well. Because this is still a Celtics team. Garland had his 30, Donovan Mitchell had his 33.
Yeah.
But you see what Darius Garland does. Just 14 points. Evan Mobley got his 17. That's fine. Max Strus 1 for 5. George Niang 0 for 2. The guys that they brought in that have to be their shooters. Karis LeVert, who is, a good piece off the bench now. Not what he was when he was in his Brooklyn days. 2 for 6 from the floor. Like, their best scoring threats outside of Mitchell and Garland kept them all in check. But it's what Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday are doing in that. This is what the Celtics have been doing all year long, man. Beating teams by 20+. Just being the cream of the crop in the NBA. Shooting 46 threes a night. Making it happen. I'm watching Jason Tatum because
Yes,
eventually he needs to come through.
You're watching him like a hawk. For all the latest on the Celtics, check out Hold My Banner. Full episode on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you follow us, too, on all your social media accounts for all of the best content. And get involved in the show. Send us your messages. Send us your voicemails. Boston has entered the chat hotline, 617-790-0928. In fact, George, we have a voicemail here. How about our boy Mark from Arlington? He left us a message about the Celtics. Take a listen.
It's a massive failure. If they don't make it out of the deplorable East, it's an epic failure. But all that said, what team in the West scares you the most against us?
It's a fair question.
Not making it out of the deplorable East.
I
like that, Mark.
Deplorable is a great word. That's an underrated word. First of all, thank you, Mark from Arlington. We appreciate the
my
call.
boy, Mark. Thank you.
Team that scares you the most out west. Look, I know everyone's like burying them, but I'm not convinced that a hand doesn't shoot out of the dirt like the Undertaker. Until the Nuggets are buried, I still feel like that's a team that I don't know if scares the right word, but it's concerning because you look at everyone else involved out west, everyone's inexperienced. Talented as all hell, but everyone's inexperienced. Timberwolves have never won anything of note.
No.
And we all knew they were talented coming into the season. But first of all, I didn't know Anthony Edwards was going to grow up before our eyes, literally. I didn't know Karl Anthony Towns was dependable because I hadn't seen it yet. I'm seeing that now. He's bona fide. I mean, Luka is Luka, but, I didn't trust Kyrie. He's come up big. I still don't love that team around them, and they haven't won anything. And then the Thunder, I mean, they're babies. They're in diapers. So it's like, if any of those teams play the Celtics, I like the Celtics to win in the finals. If the Celtics are playing the Nuggets in the finals, I have some concerns because that's a team, everything I just named for everyone else, the Nuggets don't have that problem. Now, I get they have to get past all those teams, especially Timberwolves, but I'm just saying, they've won a championship. So I would still, I know everyone's finishing them. I'm not. I would still say the Nuggets, personally.
For me, it's the Timberwolves.
Okay.
I think the Nuggets injury bug making a second straight run, it's going to hit them. But, the T-Wolves have that leader that you need, where Anthony Edwards doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
But also, he knows what the stage is and what the ramifications are, and he rises to it.
Yeah, he does.
This is a kid without a jump shot that all of a sudden finds in the playoffs. It's like a straight-up pull-up jump shooter.
Well, he has a mid-range game, but
now
he's
it's
not
coming
consistent
from three.
Right.
And now
right.
it is.
Now it is.
Attacking the rim, getting it done on both ends of the floor. Has no problem being the best perimeter defender. He has the athleticism for it. Then you have Karl Anthony Towns, who Ant Edwards will go out and say, you're our best offensive player.
Yes.
When you are clicking, everything else happens. Rudy Gobert, obviously the defensive stopper he is and rim protector. But how well he's been playing in that dunker spot, playing off of the Cats, the Ants, Mike Conley's, right? But then the way they fill it out, what they have with the depth piece in Naz Reid, who can shoot it from three, can be a scorer, undersized 4, but defends like a big 4.
Yeah, he does.
Him and Karl Anthony Towns defensively can get it done on their own down low. And when you bring Rudy Gobert back in, where you don't need to help them, that gives you more defenders on the perimeter. And that matchup alone is what can scare me with the Celtics, where they have the guys to deal with KP, and then they have the bodies to switch and double on the outside to take the Celtics out of their three-point rhythm. Then the Jaden McDaniels and Mike Conleys. They got 7 scores in double figures on this team. And I just believe that they have the player that can run a series. And we've seen it. Again, a concern it comes to me when it comes to the guys on the Celtics. Their 2 best players. Do they have the mental fortitude? Do they have that dog in them to rise to the occasion? Now, I'm saying all this. I haven't seen Anthony Edwards in that final spot yet, so let's see what happens when those lights get bright.
Sure.
But there's no reason Minnesota, they haven't given me any reason to doubt them right now.
I mean,
One of the best, if not the best defensive team in the regular season, and now the scoring is coming along. Just like the Celtics. And I said it to you, the only time I believed in a team matching up with them in the regular season, you got to be top 10, top 5, both ends of the floor. That's Minnesota.
I mean, I just talked about I need to see Jason Tatum prove it in a big spot, and then nothing else matters. I mean, this kid, Anthony Edwards, Jesus Cristo, he wants the big moment. He wants a big stage. Absolute straight dog in him. Look, I told you at the top of the show we got a lot to get to, so before we move off of the Celtics, I had to share this with George because I couldn't believe I saw this. Grant Williams, quote,
don't say that name.
Disappointed. Oh, you don't want me to say the name. Wait till you hear this. Quote, disappointed about not receiving a video tribute from the Celtics? What? What's supposed to be in the video tribute? You talking jibber jabber to Jimmy Butler and then him cooking you like barbecue chicken? What exactly? Here's what ticks me off about Grant Williams, other than that Jimmy Butler moment, which is really the only moment all of us remember from his time here. But, like, he could have been a long-time fan favorite, valuable role player piece for the Boston Celtics. That could have literally been his career and his legacy. Would have got some titles out of it, at least one, we think. I mean, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut. And now he has a nerve to say he's disappointed he didn't get a tribute? Bro, what? What?
What if the Celtics have had, 500 players play for the franchise in the history of it?
Right.
What is he, top 300? And he's like, hey, we had a good 4 years there. Grant, I looked up the numbers. You never averaged more than 8 points per game in a regular season or playoff.
Get
your
him.
last postseason was your worst of your tenure as a Celtic.
Get him.
And all he was every time coming out they're calling me Batman and wearing the bat suit. And you're just annoying.
Cook him.
You were like that little sibling that just would never shut up. And you had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who clearly were the alphas in that dressing room and on this team. And you tried to jokingly put yourself in that combo and just was never there with your game. And credit to you, you developed into a lockdown from the corner 3-point shooter and a good defensive stopper, like what you and Al Horford did to Giannis Antetokounmpo in 2022. Respect. But it is a matter of knowing who you are and just being self-aware, and you lacked that. Yeah, we could talk about that Jimmy Butler moment in the playoffs, tugging on Superman's cape, poking the bear, waking him up, and then him murdering you guys on your home floor, and that's fine. But it's just always doing that. It was just always huge look at me energy, and then you look at him, and nothing happened. Luka couldn't put up with you for half a season, and he shipped you over to Charlotte. I get it. You were good in the community here. Boston loves you for that. But the tribute video and you're disappointed? No, man. No. Grant, you were okay. Rob Williams didn't get a tribute video. He was a bigger contributor, more well-liked in Boston in that dressing room than you.
Neither one of them should get a damn tribute. How's that sound?
Just disappointed didn't get it. Look in the mirror, and that's why you didn't get a tribute video.
Right. Yeah, right.
Just some self-awareness, Grant, would be nice. Just the annoying little brother.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, actually. All right, now let's move on to the Brady roast. It's the gift that keeps on giving, George. Now we're getting the tea from behind the scenes before the Brady roast even jumped off. This is from Julian Edelman's podcast. So Julian Edelman and Drew Bledsoe were sharing a story of what happened before the roast even got going. Take a look at this clip. We'll react on the other side.
Pre-show, we're in the green room. Randy, Drew, me, Gronk.
Yeah.
We were just chilling in there.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's opening up. He's having fun. He's talking war stories. He's talking rookies. Doing shit we know what Bill's all about, but it was like amplified because he was excited to see guys because he doesn't have a job anymore.
And then Kraft walks in.
That's what I was about to just...
Right? Yeah, and then Kraft walks in.
Tension in that room, though.
It was real.
Good cut.
It was very real. It was very real. Belichick's kind of holding court. Well, as he's in the middle of the story, Kraft walks in, and so you guys all go over to say hi to Kraft. The last man standing is my bro, and he's like, well, Bill's telling the story. If I leave, then he's telling the story to nobody because everybody's over saying hi to Kraft.
I was so awkward. I was watching Coach, and I tried to give Coach a heads up. I see Kraft walk in. I'm like, yo, Coach. This locker room shit, like 5-0, 5-0. Like, of course he didn't see it. And he came in, and I was like, oh, shit, this could be some fireworks. I just walked away.
I love that. It just keeps on giving.
Bill hates Robert, and that's fine. I don't blame him, especially after the 10-part doc.
Yeah, I mean, look, in a lot of ways, I don't think Bill cared that Julian Edelman was trying to give him the heads up. Like
he wanted that moment.
Yeah, he doesn't care
because he was going to keep telling those stories and hope people stuck to listen to him.
Yeah,
and have to be awkward and Robert standing there for like 5 minutes waiting.
Right.
Look at me, guys. Look at me. I'm here.
But you know what, bro? Like, it's telling to me that all these players have defended Bill Belichick. Mm-hmm. Have come out after that doc, stood up for him. Not to make it about the rap beef, but, no one's coming to Drake's aid. You notice that?
Yeah.
Kendrick has levied some real heavy allegations and some things on Drake. Not one person in the industry, from producer to rapper to manager, anyone, has come to Drake's defense.
Yeah.
That's telling to me.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. How do your peers react to you?
Yes. So with Belichick, all we've got is slander and mudslinging. Players have defended him. Lately, he's been more human.
Yeah.
With the Pat McAfee show, with this roast. You find yourself sort of rooting for Bill Belichick lately, right? So to me, I look at that as like that's a very telling thing, and even that hearing that story there, like these guys have his back, George.
They have his back, and the beef between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick is very real.
Yeah,
they did the BS when he got fired with the elegant solution from Robert Kraft. But even think about if we keep it back to the roast after that documentary came out, that 10-part docuseries. Where Robert Kraft's coming out. It was about me keeping Brady and Belichick together. Jonathan Kraft coming out and like pinning the Aaron Hernandez stuff on Bill himself too, where he wanted to keep him. He said, we got to cut that mother effer. We got to set an example, whatever. Fast forward to them taking a shot and Robert Kraft, it was the greatest honor in my life God bestowed upon me to have him in top. And Belichick's just like the whole time, like, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. You've been in the limelight. You didn't do anything. You took a risk on me and it paid off. Fine. You didn't fire me. Fine. But I put the rosters together. I put those defenses out there that won you the first 3 Super Bowls. That real first dynasty.
Yes, sir.
And then I helped piece it together and run a tight ship to get you those last 3. But it shows how real the hate is between the two. And Robert Kraft will come out and continue to shove it down our throats of Belichick's the best, Brady's the best, I'm Robert Kraft, I'm the best, I want to get in the Hall of Fame. It's not, and it's just like, it's not genuine. We're on Bill's side, to your point. It's genuine when he's in front of mics now, when he's on TV.
Yeah.
The great time he was having. And it ate away at Robert Kraft.
Yes,
he
it
was
did.
up in the bleachers.
Yes.
And Bill Belichick was sitting up there with the roasters, having a great time, having beers, standing up, standing O, shaking Peyton Manning's hand. Robert Kraft is forgotten in the back end of the room.
He didn't want to take that shot either. He hit you with one of the, he gave it away to someone. Hey, Boston has entered the chat hotline, 617-790-0928. Send us your messages on social and the hotline bling, baby. All right, as you know, the show is interactive, which means we read all your tweets. You can call the hotline, of course, and look at the tweets rolling in about the Bruins being a team of destiny. Oh, destiny, huh? I mean, look, you guys are suggesting this. Of course, we must talk about this. I mean, if this is what's trending, this is what we do on Boston Has Entered the Chat, George. So I ask you, are people getting ahead of themselves a bit here, or is this a team of destiny?
I want to ask Colby, where is he feeling things? But also I don't want to ask him.
No, I don't think we want to ask.
I don't want that answer.
No.
They're not a team of destiny. They got taken as 7 by a really bad Leafs team. They couldn't defend worth a lick.
That's not a bad Leafs team.
That's a really good offensive team, one of the worst defenses. They barely got into the postseason, Leafs, this year. That's a team watch. They're going to tear that thing down. This is a good team.
Yeah.
They had 109 points in the regular season. They had 135 last year.
Yeah.
And last year was a record-setting pace. You still have Brad Marchand. You have David Pastrnak scored 110 points this year. Brad Marchand still playing really good hockey. Charlie McAvoy, the best goalie tandem in the NHL. You don't have just one number one goalie. You have two.
Right.
And in the postseason now, you have a guy that's clearly the number one in Jeremy Swayman. Team of destiny, to get that going, you beat the Panthers 5-1. The Panthers coming off rest.
Yeah.
They looked off. Sergei Bobrovsky looked off. I'm not saying team of destiny anything unless they beat the Panthers. Then I'll say that.
Okay.
But watch where Florida's going to come out and bring game 2. This is a good Bruins team. Team of destiny would be if it was a bunch of young guys, if it was Mason Larrey, Matty Patra leading the way, Justin Brazeau, his first time getting called up and playing in the NHL, making things happen. If this was Jeremy Swayman 3 years ago leading the way, but this has been a team building up to this moment. You went out and got Pavel Zacha, 50-plus points his first 2 seasons in Boston, his best 2 seasons in the NHL. Oh, team of destiny. Destiny's being used very loosely here, not to come down on everyone's parade. Like, I'm enjoying this playoff run. I'm enjoying watching what they did against the Panthers. This is exciting. But team of destiny, I need more.
You bringing up last season is why I sort of get why this is happening and why people are suggesting this is a team of destiny, because we all thought last season was a team of destiny. Lord knows the regular season record books suggested that too. And then when you go out the way you did to this same Panthers team, now the Bruins team looks much different, but this Panthers team is really the exact same.
Better, if not.
Better, but they played better. But I'm just saying, on paper, same team. So I think that's where it's coming from is, hey, we lost all these guys via free agency, trades, retirement. Now we have this way different team that's defensive based and goalie led. And here we are. I mean, you beat the Leafs in 7. I disagree with you. I don't think that was a bad Leafs team. I think this was a typical Leafs team. To their credit, they played a Bruins style in that first round, but they want to score. We understand that. And I do agree with you. They're going to blow it up there in Toronto, but that's their problem, not ours. But I'm just saying, you went to 7. You got it done in dramatic, exciting fashion. Now you're playing a Panthers team. Not a lot of people were giving you. I mean, you watch all these so-called experts on all these shows. They're all picking the Panthers in 5.
Give me names.
No, I'm just saying, like the shows, all the shows, right?
No, you're
Hell,
right.
I picked the Panthers.
I picked Panthers.
So, I mean, and now you go out game 1, you dominate them, rest or not. That sounds like an excuse to me. I just think people are looking at this Bruins team like, yeah, it wasn't last year. The fact that they're still standing, they're still here, they look even better in the postseason than last year. This is a team of destiny. I can understand why that sentiment is there, but I would pump the brakes as well.
You won one round.
Yes. And by the way, let's, for the sake of this conversation of destiny, say they beat the Panthers. Congratulations. You're going to get the Canes or the Rangers.
Then let's talk destiny.
Then let's talk. And then, oh, by the way, Team of Destiny, if you get to the finals, good luck with McKinnon, maybe McDavid. We'll see.
Yeah.
So it's a long way to go before we know for sure if this is a Team of Destiny. But I at least understand where it's coming from. And I think it's because of last year's shortcomings and this team being grimier and grittier and tougher, it appears.
Yeah.
I get it.
I just need more than a first-round
Of
playoff
course.
run. Team of Destiny, your destiny is to get into the playoffs and win the first round and then beat a team in the first game? No.
Right.
But you're right. Because of last year and then showing up and beating the brakes off the Panthers and pushing them around, that's what gets people saying, is this team legit?
That's right.
Is this a team of destiny?
Is this meant to be?
But I need more.
Yeah, of course.
If you beat the Panthers in 6, I'll be like, all right, what we got working here?
Yeah.
This team's playing very well. No. Jeremy Swayman is playing exceptionally well.
He's ridiculous.
And you have played good for 4 games out of the 8 you've played so far.
Fair.
And I'm talking the first 5 games
Yeah.
of the first round
Right.
and then game 1. Like you didn't.
Well,
you, didn't,
you played great in game 1.
You
I'm
didn't-
not giving you good
you
there.
didn't,
That was
you didn't
great.
look good game 5 or
No.
game 6. Game 7, that came down to the wire. That took overtime to win. I need more to get Team of Destiny vibes.
How far realistically do you see this team going? Forget the destiny. Let's just talk about the destination. How far can this team go? Because, look, I said all year in the East, Florida was the best complete team that I saw.
Most complete team, yeah.
Rangers, obviously defense, in goal with Baby Hasek. Igor's just a monster. We get it. The Canes, I love what they did at the deadline. I
Getting
thought that could
Gensel.
maybe push them over there with getting Gensel and others.
Definitely.
And then the Bruins were right there, and I said it's a 4-horse race to me in the Eastern Conference. Here we are, and look at the Final Four. I would not, and I've said this all year, I would not be shocked if any of the 4 made it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yep.
And, so I look at this, and I'm just going to kind of stick with my guns now. My pick out of those 4, for the record, was the Florida Panthers. But if you told me the Bruins made the finals, I wouldn't be shocked at all. If you told me the Bruins win Lord Stanley's Cup, I'd be a little surprised. And then I'm jumping on board with the destiny thing. So I guess my answer is I could see this team in the Stanley Cup final. Now, I reserve the right as far as prediction, depending on who they play, because ultimately I think the Avalanche get it done.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's beating them. But I wouldn't be shocked if they end up in the finals.
I think their ceiling is an Eastern Conference Finals. Just think about the path they're about to go through, though.
Yes.
Beat the Leafs in 7.
Yeah.
And yes, so second best offense in the NHL. Take down the Panthers, which I agree with you, most complete team in the NHL.
Right.
Remember with the Kachucks, the Verhaeghes, the Sam Bennetts, their goaltending is good between 2 guys. Not great, good, but they figured it out.
Sure.
Most physical team in the NHL. And then you add Vladimir Tarasenko and you have Paul Maurice as a head coach.
Yep.
Most complete team. If you get past the Panthers, Rangers or Canes waiting on the other side, my pick is the Carolina Hurricanes to come out of the East. So that's why I put their ceiling at the Eastern Conference Finals. They overachieve, in my opinion, if they get to the ECF because of how good this Florida Panthers team is.
Okay.
So, Destiny, if you get to the ECF, Team of Destiny. But if you lose in 6 to the Panthers, it's another Bruins season.
Well, either way, that was destiny.
Yeah.
You're a team of destiny regardless, right? If you go all the way, that was your destiny. If the Panthers do you in again,
That is your destiny.
that's your destiny. So you know what? You're right. This is a team of destiny.
Don't do
no
that
matter
to
how
me.
it ends, right? All right, so let's go keys for game 2 here tonight.
I don't
Listen,
like how you turn that
I
on
mean,
me.
it's true, though. So I already told you this. I said this after game 1 immediately, and I still feel this way. I'm losing sleep on the thought of the onslaught that these damn Panthers are about to bring to start game 2. At home, they already gave up a game at home on home ice. They have got to have it. This is not some young team that doesn't know what they're doing. They are bringing hell in a handbasket to start this game.
Yep.
So the Bruins must figure out a way to survive the early rounds, to use a fight analogy. Just stay on your feet, stay in the center of the ring, be defensive but also counterpunch, and I think you can be okay. I want to also see Pasta stay aggressive. Remember, he was called out for Game 7. He responded in kind from Jim Montgomery. And look,
skated well in Game 1.
He skated well in Game 1. He hit the post. He took shots. I like the aggressiveness that Pasta has. Would I like to see him put the biscuit in the basket tonight? Of course I would. But at the very least, stay aggressive because their defense is going to be honing in on you. And that opens it up for your teammates, as we saw in Game 1 anyways. And then, look, stick with Sway. Hot hand. I know a lot of people are suggesting maybe you play Allmark, give Sway some rest here. Just stick with the hot hand. Don't overthink it.
I like that last
This
game.
guy's just on a different planet right now in terms of his level of play. Really, he's carried you here. Let's just face it. So you got to stick with Sway right now.
I like that. My 3 keys, especially that last one.
Yeah.
Got to win in the dot. -13 in face-offs, differential. First game. It's about puck possession with this team. Because even when you have possession, they're going to pressure you, cause turnovers.
Sure.
So you're going to have your stuff cut in half. You at least have to win that battle in the circle, especially when you're in the offensive zone. Cut down the giveaways. Just as you got to win the face-offs, 13 giveaways in Game 1. The only goal the Panthers scored came off a terrible Charlie McAvoy turnover. The only goal the Leafs scored came off that terrible Carlo turnover, right? Redemption in Game 1. And then 3, just play smart. What was last night? Their third, fourth, too many men on the ice penalty. And it was like straight up like 6 skaters on the ice.
Right.
Not a bad substitution. Not a bad line switch. Just straight up 6 guys playing on the ice. That's on Jim Montgomery.
Right.
Communicate, get your message across, and make sure you guys know where they have to be at certain times too. So my 3 keys are simple. Play smart hockey. Play clean hockey. I like your key the best. Stick with Jeremy Swayman.
Right.
He is the best player in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, you just can't overthink it right now. And I get it. They got here from both of those guys playing great. And I still have faith in Allmark because he's healthy this postseason as opposed to last postseason. But right now, Jeremy Swayman's playing on such a level. You can't play any of those games right now. Just stick with the hot hand and go with it until the wheels fall off. And then, look, if he starts taking a step back in his performance, boy, it's nice to have Allmark in the bullpen ready to go. I mean, that's a beautiful luxury to have. That's why they're here in the first place, because of both of those guys. All right, so look, the draft lottery is done. The Sharks are picking number 1 for the first time in team history, which was a little shocking to me. So they picked number 4 last year. Now they have the number 1 pick. Blackhawks, who picked first last year, you remember, and got Connor Bedard, who lived up to the hype. They have the 2nd overall pick, so 2 nice years for them now. And then the Ducks are picking 3rd. They picked 2nd last year. So who are the Sharks going to take? Because you cover college hockey. You know all these guys. Break it down for me.
I covered their last 2 picks. Last year with the 4th overall pick, they took Will Smith out of Boston College. This year with the number 1 overall pick, they're dipping back into that Boston University well. Macklin Celebrini, only 17 years old. He'll be 18 by the time he's in the NHL.
Wow.
But Hobie Baker winner as the best player in college hockey, as a freshman, 17-year-old freshman at BU, doing things we haven't seen since Jack Eichel. But Jack Eichel did that at 18. The difference in maturity, strength, everything, 17 compared to 18, is light years, let alone what he'll do to mature in the NHL. But 64 points, 200-foot game with Celebrini. And Blackhawk fans will hate to hear this, but I compare his game to Jonathan Taves, a playmaker forward.
Okay.
And he's got defense to his game, too. I mean, all 200 feet, he can make an impact on the game. But this is a kid that I've seen him score goals with an absolute howitzer of a slap shot. Like David Pastrnak shots at the college level, but then make adult-like scores.
Yeah.
Patient with the puck on his stick. Wait for the goalie to make his move and anticipate and just backhand, chip it in, go top shelf. Just leaps and bounds the best player on the ice, and was the best player on a team that had 12 or 13 NHL draft picks.
Jeez.
Macklin Celebrini was the best player on that BU team that went to the Frozen Four. This is a kid, too. His dad is one of the head trainers for the Golden State Warriors, has been around professional athletes. He was in charge of Kevin Durant's rehab, Clay Thompson's rehab, right?
Right.
He knows how to be professional. His maturity is beyond being 17, and he's addressed it. I've asked him straight up, what does it feel like to have that pressure? City's rooting for their team to lose so they get the number one overall pick for you. And he
Right.
goes, I'm grateful to be in that position. For me, it's all about winning. That's a kid that's mature beyond his years, a leader beyond his years. Macklin Celebrini, he doesn't have the hype that Connor Bedard had around him, and
Yeah.
maybe that's because he played in college, but he's a very special kid. And now the Sharks are going to have Macklin and Will Smith on their first line.
Wow.
Two young guys going to be 18 and 19 by the time they're playing for him. I want to see Macklin go. I want to see Will Smith go. Selfishly, I like him to stay in Boston College.
Sure.
But those two leading San Jose Sharks, and San Jose's a good hockey city. Great job for them to get the number one overall pick. They got a bright future.
For all of our best content of the day, make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Boston has entered the chat, and now we out. Peace.
Later.